Hello, everyone. This is the release 15.7 planning issue. I'm Chris, the product manager for the release stage. I'm here with Emily, product designer for the release stage. So we're going to talk through what we're planning to do for the 15.7 milestone, and some themes that we're working on for the milestone are migrating to the multiple approval rules and configuration for the deploy approval experience. The next one is API enhancements, some work around our APIs and making them work for multiple use cases, and then some maintenance work planned as well. So in terms of deliverables, we'll walk through each of these issues listed here. So the first three direction issues that were in that table are part of this larger epic. So support multiple approval rules on project level, protected environment settings UI. And what we're doing here, the goal is right now we have multiple ways to configure deploy approvals and who needs to approve and what kind of approval access permissions that they have. And the first one is unified access, unified approval rules. And then the next one is kind of the multiple approval rules. And so multiple approval rules are more flexible in general. You can have separate configurations in multiple groups for who gets to approve a deployment and versus who has permission to actually execute a deployment. So it's more flexible, and that is the direction that we want to move all of our customers towards. And so this effort, these next three issues that I'll be talking through, will be adding support for that into the configurations, because right now our configuration UI supports the first unified approval rules. We want to take a few milestones to essentially migrate, make sure everyone is aware, and then eventually migrate all of our customers and users to that new experience. And so what that looks like specifically, we have specific iterations to handle each part of that experience. So this one is editing the sort of the deployment approval rules. The next one is talking about editing the deployment executor rules. And then the next one here is making sure we have the right alerting and messaging. So when people are going into the configuration settings and updating or creating their deploy approval rules, they're notified that we're doing this change. And then specifically that unified approval rules will be essentially removed from the UI in favor of the multiple approvals. At the same time, those rules can still be updated as needed in the API. So we're making sure that users have a path to be able to do that. The next one is GraphQL query for fetching environment deployment permissions. So this is part of our overall effort to move to GraphQL to power a lot of our environments and index and details pages. It's more performant, it's more flexible. And so this iteration is doing that specifically for the permissions for users. Next one is another API enhancement. So in our deployment API, we want to enable users to filter by the finished after essentially date or field. And so we're adding that as a new type of filter in the deployments API to be able to get those types of deployments. And then the next one is converting the environment details page from HAML to view. And one of the reasons, again, is going back to, we know this page is really heavily used and has grown actually a lot in the past few months, which is really exciting. We want to kind of continue to enable to scale in terms of actual performance of the page, and then also in terms of dev kind of velocity from that standpoint too. So we want to take some time here to do that conversion. Okay, and the last one here is a performance related issue. Right now we are seeing, continue to monitor this, but we are seeing some endpoints and queries related to our feature flags product and feature kind of get delayed and slow, and affects our sometimes it affects our error budget, and then we want to make sure that those endpoints are reliable and make sure to serve up the necessary information for that feature. So those are the major features for P1s. We also have a list of P2s and P3s that we'll pull in as we complete our P1s. And with that, I'll turn it over to Emily to talk about design and user research work.
Sounds good. I will just share my screen. I believe it's this one. Well, so we have quite a few UX issues. We're working on this milestone, starting with deployment approvals, so skipping approvals in an emergency. This is just the flow we want to kind of design around. If there is an emergency and an operator needs to kind of get something out and skip the approval process, that's more important. How is that going to look? So we've had a customer comment on this one as well, showing some urgency. So looking into the design of this. We also want to do the third iteration of this promote a deployment epic we're kind of working on right now around improving promoting deployments on the environment index page. And this is with the decision to revert the previous promote behavior. Now users lost the ability to promote a deployment to another environment. And this is kind of rethinking the UX and giving them that option again. The third one we're looking at, and this is spanning a few milestones now, is add dynamically populated organizational level environments page. So this is looking at giving a summary of all deployments or all environments at the production level, at the group level. So users can really see a summary of what's going on, their environment health, and just kind of have a higher level summary where they don't have to go into each project to get this information. So looking forward to this one. I know we've been working on it for a milestone already. So we're making good progress. The next one is actually a issue that relates to the usability benchmarking. So really giving users feedback that they have successfully created a release. Right now, when you go to create a release, there's not really any feedback that you've successfully created one until you kind of check and it's there. So this is just rethinking that feedback that we give users when they've completed an action. And then we have a few research issues. The next one is finishing off the category maturity scorecard for environment management. This is really, we've kind of crafted our scenarios. We're looking to do our interviews and summary in 15.7 and finishing this up to see if we can move environment management up to viable. We also completed the design for the deployment. Oh, this is not the right. One sec. I think the link to this one is not the right link. But we have an issue around the deployment details page and just validating that with our users to make sure they're able to go through all the interactions that they need to on that page and validating that this is indeed the direction we want to go forward with. So really in 15.7, we want to validate the new design for this deployment details / deployment request page before it goes into production. And the last one is just a support role. I'll be helping configure with any design feedback they might need for this add environment support to the GitLab agent. So I'll be helping Ali with this and any kind of questions or support he needs around working and designing in the environment index page. So that's about it for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily. I did link the, added the link for the deployment detail and solution validation if you wanted it, but I think we spoke through it. So cool. Thank you for that. Exciting, super exciting about all of those projects. A lot of them are huge ones we've been thinking about and talking about a lot for a while. Group environments, the integration with Kubernetes and kind of a cross-cage effort. So excited that we're collaborating with our partners in Configure. And one last call out for me is that we did ship our or are working on shipping an improvement to our environment search capability to make it more useful. There are some kind of performance and scalability concerns. So one thing that we might pull in for 15.7, we were discussing with the team this morning, are some potential areas to help with that type of scalability and monitoring that the scale of usage. So And if so, we'll pull those into the plan throughout the milestone. Okay, so that's our milestone for 15.7. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.